Unwritten rule of work number 4. I'm Dr. Anna Kalschmidt. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, and I research the unwritten rules of work for people from low-income backgrounds. This fourth rule is one of the most annoying to me. It's learning how to be indirect in your communication. We interview people from low-income backgrounds who transitioned to higher class backgrounds through employment who were Black and white, and all of our groups, Black and white women and men, brought this up about the same. All of them were around 50%. And this is when they felt like they had to cushion their language or use kid gloves when talking to people or giving feedback, particularly if it was not just agreeing with them. I made a video a couple weeks ago on the difference, what it feels like going from blue collar to white collar, and I used the example of the children's story, The Emperor Has No Clothes. And it reminds me of this unwritten rule, and I think that's partly because in blue collar jobs, what we think of as like construction or um, electrical work, etc. Like, you don't want a construction worker who's indirect. Like, is the wall coming down or not? Is it safe to go in or not? You don't want them to say, well, how are you doing today? Yes, I'm fine, thank you. And I don't want to hurt your feelings, but the wall might come down. That's not going to work. You just say, the wall's not solid, move. But in the office and corporate culture, it's expected to cushion more. Business leaders, research on business leaders for a while has shown that one of the biggest issues in business is miscommunication. So I don't endorse this rule completely, but as always, I'm going to give you some tips for if you're trying to navigate this right now. Even though I would challenge leaders to work on creating a communication culture with your team. Talk about what you consider respectful, ask them what they consider respectful, because you don't want miscommunications because people are afraid to say them. I think it was the former CEO of Twitter who said, my job as a leader is to resolve mistakes as quickly as possible, and I can't do that if people are afraid to tell me what they are. He made a good point. For the people struggling with this rule, just remember that not everything in the office is an emergency. Like, it could be in a more blue collar situation. Not that everything is, but walls aren't coming down usually in the office. So start with a greeting, especially on an email. Ask them how they're doing before you get straight to the point. As I've said in the previous video on compliance, ask to disagree first, especially if the person has power over you. This helps soften it, and you're still respecting their authority when you do it. Use I statements instead of you statements. Say, I perceive this instead of you did this. It'll help it be received better. Ask questions before assuming. Lord, I see that a lot on TikTok. Oh, so you said ABC. Nope, nowhere in that video did I say ABC. Ask somebody. Say, what I heard was this. Is that what you meant? And then see what they're saying. Because in corporate, it's a lot about relationship building anyway. So even if you don't agree, you do want to build the relationship with that person. This is one of the hardest rules for me. I'm very direct. So let me know if you have other tips in the comments.